Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Monday. We got 12 matchups on this MLB slate today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below. If you guys like betting on MLB player props, you already know, go ahead and sign up with Parlay Play. Get 5 free entries when you guys sign up. So go ahead and hop in there, take advantage, and hopefully you can get some nice wins. And yeah, we'll hop in it. Yesterday was kind of tough. A lot of bad losses from some favorites like the Dodgers and Toronto. Took some bad loss, and the Cardinals. A lot of teams. People definitely had it in their parlays. Took some beatings, but hey, that's how it goes. And we'll hop back in it today. 12 matchups, starting with the Cleveland Guardians versus the Kansas City Royals. Royals opening up as home favorites at -115. Cleveland -105 with the over-under at 8.5. Pitching for the Guardians is Aaron Savale. Was 12-5 last season with an ERA of 3.84. He had 99 strikeouts. Pitching for the Royals is Carlos Hernandez with an ERA of 3.68. He had 75 strikeouts last year. Cleveland coming off that 17-3 win over Kansas City. I mean, what a performance they had. They just dominated yesterday. Kansas City's won 2 out of the last 3, but Cleveland's covered in both of them. And Cleveland 11-4 on the road against Kansas City. I like the Guardians again, +1.5 on the road, coming off a game where they hit just incredibly. We'll see how that translates today. I'm hoping they bring that momentum into that game today, but getting them as an underdog, I mean, can you really trust the Royals after what they did yesterday? Not sure I can. Give me the Guardians +1.5 on the road. Next matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals opening up as home favorites at -200. Pittsburgh +170 with the over-under at 8. Pitching for the Pirates is Zach Thompson with an ERA of 3.24. He had 66 strikeouts last season. Pitching for the Cardinals is Dakota Hudson. He's 1-0. Had an ERA of 2.08 with 6 strikeouts. Pittsburgh coming off a nice win against St. Louis, winning 9-4. It was just one of those days. It was Pittsburgh's day. They had a nice hitting day. They're 5-15 on the road. That's where they struggle. St. Louis 10-4 at home. I like the Cardinals to bounce back. Kind of a tough loss yesterday. And I expect a better performance from the Cardinals here. Rolling with St. Louis at home. Next matchup, we have the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Baltimore Orioles. Brewers opening up as road favorites at -155. The Orioles +145 with the over-under at 9. Pitching for the Brewers is Adrian Hauser. He was 10-6 last season with an ERA of 3.22 and had 105 strikeouts. Pitching for the Orioles is Bruce Zimmerman. He was 4-5 last season with an ERA of 5.04. He had 56 strikeouts. Brewers finally coming off a Chicago win. Had 2 tough losses against Chicago to start the season. Baltimore got swept by Tampa Bay in that series. They're coming off an 8-0 loss against the Rays. Milwaukee 5-0 against Baltimore. They are just 1-8 on the road where they've struggled. Baltimore, the unders hit in 8 out of their last 10 games at home. Baltimore struggled to score. Milwaukee, not the best scoring team either. They've only gotten 5 runs as their highest total so far this season. I like the Brewers in this matchup. I like Adrian Hauser on the mound. And yeah, I'm rolling with the Brewers on the road. Next matchup, we have the Colorado Rockies versus the Texas Rangers. Rangers opening up as home favorites at -135. Colorado +115 with the over-under at 9.5. Pitching for the Rockies is Austin Gomber. He was 9-9 last season with an ERA of 4.53. He had 113 strikeouts. Pitching for the Rangers is Taylor Hearn. He was 6-6 last season with an ERA of 4.66. He had 92 strikeouts. Rockies coming off back-to-back Dodger wins. Rangers coming off a nice Toronto comeback win. Colorado, they're 5-2 against the Rangers. The unders hit a 9 out of the last 12 games against Colorado. I think there's good value for the Rockies here. Coming off 2 Dodger wins. I mean, that's definitely momentum you want to have in your corner. Yeah, I'm going to take a shot on the Rockies, +1.5 on the road. Next matchup, we have the Boston Red Sox versus the Detroit Tigers. Boston opening up as road favorites at -120. Detroit +100 with the over-under at 9.5. Pitching for the Red Sox is Michael Wacha with an ERA, or he was 3-5 last season with an ERA of 5.05. He had 121 strikeouts. Pitching for Detroit is Matt Manning. He was 4-7 last year with an ERA of 5.80. He had 57 strikeouts. Boston coming off a Yankees win. A series where, they kind of struggled hitting. Detroit coming off back-to-back losses against Chicago. Only scoring 1 and 2 runs, so they've struggled to score here. Boston 8-3 against Detroit. The overs hit in 9 out of their last 12 games. Detroit just 1-4 at home. I like Boston here, coming off a nice Yankees win. And Detroit definitely struggled in that. They struggled their last 2 games despite picking up that first one against the White Sox. I like the Red Sox to get a nice road win here. Next matchup, we have the Oakland Athletics versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay opening up as home favorites at -220. Oakland +180 with the over-under at 8.5. Pitching for Oakland is Paul Blackburn. He was 1-4 last season with an ERA of 5.87. He had 26 strikeouts. Pitching for the Rays is Luis Patino. He was 5-3 last year with an ERA of 4.31. He had 74 strikeouts. Oakland coming off a nice Philly win, even though they lost their first 2 games against Philly. Tampa coming off a nice Baltimore sweep, winning 8-0 in their last matchup. Tampa Bay looks really good. Oakland 1-4 on the road. I mean, Oakland hasn't looked that good to start the season. They did get a nice one over Philly, but definitely struggled the first 2 games here. Tampa Bay 8-1 at home. That's definitely where they shine. Gonna be tough for Oakland to get a win here. Maybe in this series, I'm sure they'll probably steal the game. But yeah, I like Luis Patino on the mound. Gonna be tough to bet against the Rays here. Rolling with Tampa Bay at home. Next matchup, we have the New York Mets versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies opening up as home favorites at -146. The Mets +136 with the over-under at 9. Pitching for the Mets is Taijuan Walker. He was 7-11 last season with an ERA of 4.47. He had 146 strikeouts. Pitching for the Phillies is Ranger Suarez. Had an ERA of 1.36 with an ERA of 1. He had 107 strikeouts. Mets coming off a 4-2 loss against Washington. So far, 3-1. 3 good wins against the Nationals. Philly coming off that Oakland loss. which was kind of a tough loss for them. The Mets, the unders hit in 4 out of their last 5 games. They're 2-5 on the road against Philly. I like the Mets here. I've liked what I've seen so far from the Mets. They look really good to start the season, despite coming off that loss. Both teams coming off a loss here. I think it was good value with the Mets. I'm going to take the Mets plus 1.5 on the road. All right, next matchup, we have the Toronto Blue Jays versus the New York Yankees. Yankees opening up, or both teams currently in a pick'em scenario at -110 with the over-under at 9. Pitching for the Blue Jays is Alek Manoah. He was 9-2 last season with an ERA of 3.22. He had 127 strikeouts. Pitching for the Yankees is Jameson Taillon with an ERA of 4.30. He was 8-6 with 140 strikeouts. Toronto coming off that bad loss against the Rangers, one where they were up 6-1 and they just blew that game. But nonetheless, they've been good so far this season. Yankees coming off that Boston loss, they look pretty good this season. Both teams coming off a loss. Toronto 5-2 against the Yankees, 7-1 on the road against the Yankees here. Yeah, it looks like Toronto is the underdog here. Getting Toronto plus 1.5. Absolutely love that move. 2 really good pitchers here. I'm going to take Toronto plus 1.5 on the road. Next matchup, we have the Washington Nationals versus the Atlanta Braves. Braves opening up as home favorites at -110. Washington -106 with the over-under at 9.5. Pitching for the Braves is Oscar Yanoa with an ERA of 4.05. He was 4-6 last season with 100 strikeouts. Pitching for the Nationals, I really can't find any information. I'm seeing Anibal Sanchez is pitching for the Nationals, and I cannot find any info on him, so maybe he's pitching. I really have no idea, so be sure to check the status for whoever's pitching for the Nationals. Braves coming off that loss against Cincinnati. Both teams split 2 wins in that series. Washington coming off a win against the Mets, but Washington really hasn't looked that good to start the season. They've struggled big time. Braves, they've been pretty solid here. Braves 11-3 at home, 5-2 at home against Washington. I'm not sure I just trust Washington. The pitching seems very questionable for this matchup here. I'm going to roll with the Braves at home. Next matchup, we have the Seattle Mariners versus the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota opening up as home favorites at -130. Seattle plus 110 with the over-under at 9. Pitching for Seattle is Chris Flexen with an ERA of 3.61. He had 125 strikeouts. Pitching for the Twins is Dylan Bundy. He was 2-9 last season with an ERA of 6.06. He had 84 strikes. Seattle coming off a 10-4 loss against Minnesota. Minnesota finally had a good game despite looking, 2 losses against Minnesota or against Seattle in the first 2 games. That's usually how it goes. In a 3-game series, the team that's been doing bad usually steals a game. That's kind of how it always goes. Seattle 9-2 on the road, 4-1 on the road against Minnesota, where they've been really good. Again, good money for Seattle. I know they're coming off a 10-4 loss here, but nonetheless, they've been really good in this series so far. I'm going to take Seattle plus 1.5 on the road. Next matchup, we have the Miami Marlins versus the Los Angeles Angels. Angels opening up as home favorites at -135. Miami plus 125 with the over-under at 9.5. Pitching for the Marlins is Eliezer Hernandez. He was 1-3 last season with an ERA of 4.18. He had 53 strikeouts. Pitching for the Angels is Michael Lorenzen with an ERA of 5.59. He had 21 strikeouts last season. Miami, coming off a Giants loss. All those games were so close. One score games against the Giants. Angels, they struggled against Houston, coming off a 4-1 loss against Houston. Only won one matchup in those 4 meetings. Miami 2-8 on the road, 0-7 against the American League. LA 3-13 at home. Not in love with this matchup here. I'm going to lean with the home team. I think the Angels get back on track against the Marlins. Marlins didn't play horrible against the Giants. They could have won all those games. New series, though, for the Angels. I like the Angels to get back on track. They're very talented. And I like them to get back on track against the Marlins at home. And then the last matchup, we have the San Diego Padres versus the San Francisco Giants. Pitching for the Padres is Nick Martinez. He was 3-8 last season with an ERA of 5.66. He had 67 strikeouts. Pitching for the Giants is Alex Wood with an ERA of 3.83. He was 10-4 last season with 152 strikeouts. Padres coming off 3 straight Arizona wins after losing their first game. San Francisco coming off a Miami win. They were 2-1 in that series. San Diego 2-4 against San Francisco. The unders hitting 5 out of their last 7 games. I think it's good plus money on the Padres here. They looked really good against Arizona. Giants were good against the Miami, but Giants really didn't hit the ball that well, especially the last 2 games, only scoring 3 and 1. I like San Diego coming into this on a 3-game winning streak. I'm going to take San Diego plus 1.5 on the road. And that's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Monday. Hope you guys get some nice wins, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good one.